What's up, guys? This is Webby, and this is a special video for you involving my favorite top 5 hills. And I have a special guest asking me the hard, tough questions. And I'm going to bring him out right now, and his name is Clownie. Clownie, come on out. And unlike my other guests, he seems to love to have his own ringtone and theme music.
Whoa! Hey, it's Clownie.
So Clownie, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. So first thing, I want to ask you a couple questions.
You're gonna ask me some questions?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you a couple questions.
Ooh. All right.
All right.
I'm ready for it.
Oh, you're going to be ready for this one. You know what? You want to know why I know you're ready for this one?
Why that?
Because you're not a puppet.
No, I'm not a puppet.
Yeah, you're not like some of these puppets that's on wrestling.
I know all your previous guests have been puppets. I am not a puppet. So, I'm talking about Jason Funny and Farva puppets.
So, since our topic today is on heels, what are your thoughts on wrestling heels?
In general, or what are you talking about?
Well, maybe today.
The heels of today. I feel like, really, there's only one good heel in wrestling today.
Who's that?
I think it's Lesnar, even though it's kind of mixed because the fans like it, but he's supposed to be a heel, if you get what I'm saying.
Fans like him, but he's supposed to be a heel. You know, I can see that. You know, what do you mean by that, though?
I don't know. They got this weird system going on where he's their main bad guy because he beats up, everyone, puts people through announce tables, F5 Shane McMahon, and that's supposed to come off as a heel, but people like our generation, our age,
We love it.
Yeah, we love it because it's hilarious. It's awesome. And I don't want to see all these faces picking up babies, kissing them, and I don't know. I like seeing the F5s on Shane McMahon.
Yeah. You know, he did get booed at SummerSlam for that, though.
Really?
Yeah. He did get booed for that.
I did not notice that.
You know, on the other hand, you know, he was getting cheered for that absolute massacre all over Randy Orton.
And well deserved.
Well deserved. I absolutely agree.
It was a bloodbath, and that's what Orton deserved.
Yeah, absolute. It would have been horrific and atrocious if Randy Orton would have won that match.
Yes. He was not the man to beat the streak.
Not when Randy Orton wasn't the one behind the one in what's now 23-1.
Yes. Agreed. So I hear you're going to do some top 5 heels.
Yes.
And I hope they're good ones.
Yes.
I don't think we've heard your opinion on a top 5.
No, we haven't heard my opinion. I always get my guest opinion.
So this is going to be your first top 5. So breaking it down for us, Webby.
Yeah.
I guess I got to ask, what do you consider a heel?
A heel? Okay. Well, you know that heels are people, unless you are a straight up puppet who doesn't know what a heel and a baby face is. A heel is somebody that gets heat.
Gets heat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, you know what heat means?
Well, I do, but let's cover it for everyone else.
Heat is when you get hate from the audience, or when you get boos from the audience. Now, unless you're somebody like Roman Reigns, which you all see me rant. Ooh! which you see me rant about him on a weekly basis. Because he is nothing more than a waste of talent that deserves to be on in-house shows. But he is shoved down our throat as a babyface, but people ooze hate and boo him. So there are exceptions, but hey,
Who likes Roman Reigns?
kids and their mamas.
Alright, so your criteria is they get heat.
Yes.
And are you covering all wrestling federations are you covering?
Well, you could actually go back to the NWA days, which was the National Wrestling Alliance, which eventually turned into WCW, which is the same thing. WWF/WWE, which I'll cover that. You could cover, which I won't cover these, you could cover Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, Total Nonstop Action. You could cover all those. I'm not going to cover all those. The main two I'm going to cover is WCW and WWE because that's the two main that most everybody knows.
And are you covering all eras?
All eras? I would say that I'll cover most of the eras.
Alright, so 80s, 90s, are you covering back in the 70s?
80s, 90s.
To the day?
Yeah.
Alright, so let's go with Webby's top 5 heels. Five time. Start with number 5. Take it away.
All right. Number 5, I would definitely have to say, and this goes back to the Attitude Era, I would have to say the Dead Man, The Undertaker.
So Undertaker.
When he was the kind of Ministry of Darkness, that devilistic figure where he was crucifying people.
Yeah.
Kind of. He was putting people on that cross and hanging them up to the Titantron. You know, sacrificing people.
And he had a good feud with Stone Cold during this time, right?
Yeah, and he at that time period he put Stephanie McMahon, which I don't think anybody really cared about.
I think most people wanted to see that at the time.
At the time, because it was entertaining, but you know, he put Stephanie McMahon to a cross, and then Ken Shamrock freaked out and started running around all over the place, you know, trying to find her, you know, and she was all freaking out because she was hiding backstage, and next thing you knew, she was out in the Titan hanging on the Titantron. He was wearing that big coat thing, and he was acting like a real freak.
So Undertaker takes your number 5 pick?
Yeah, I would 100% say Undertaker takes my number 5 pick. He completely just wiped out the WWF at that time period, being a heel.
Alright, going on to number 4.
Number 4, I would have to say, and this goes back to the NWA early WCW days, in which you could really put one person or an entire group in this. You could say Ric Flair or the Four Horsemen, whichever one that you wanted to put. I would say that was my number 4.
So number 4, Ric Flair / Four Horsemen.
Absolutely, 100%. And this is another one of these things, just like Roman Reigns, where to a point, except it was flip-flopped, Ric Flair was a heel, and the Four Horsemen were heels, but there was people that liked him.
Okay, gotcha.
and they were respected, but they ran roughshod all over NWA and WCW back in that time period. Beating up Midnight Express, having legendary tag matches with the Legion of Doom. You know, how could you not mention the feud between Ric Flair and the Common Man, as most people know him from his WWF days, /E, Dusty Rhodes, which he didn't have the Common Man gimmick back then, but he still kind of gave that vibe, slapping dimes with pork and beans, that kind of stuff. And apparently my guest has left, so it's just me flying solo at the moment. So, you know, how could you not mention Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen when you talk about heels? I mean, there was one incident, and I remember it was with the Midnight Express. They attacked them backstage and broke the Midnight Express's nose on the hard cement floor. And, you know, back then it was NWA, and they didn't have the little padding like WWE does. They rubbed their face on the concrete floor, broke their nose, and bleed their nose up, and it showed it, and it was violent and nasty. And there was this one incident where they had a steel cage match, and Ric Flair was supposed to turn babyface, and Dusty Rhodes came into the steel cage to help out one of the guys that was in Four Horsemen. I think it was he was supposed to help one of the guys. I think it was Arn Anderson, and they ended up attacking him, turned their backs on Dusty Rhodes, and broke his ankle. Wasn't supposed to happen that way. So you cannot mention Ric Flair if you're talking about bad guys.
I agree. Dirtiest player in the game.
There's a reason why he has that nickname.
If he didn't have glasses on right now, I'd give him the eyeball. Alright. Moving on to number 3. 3 is a magic number. Who you got, Webby? Number 3.
Number 3 would definitely have to say I would 100% have to put Triple H in this category. Now, some of you puppets might say, "Oh, but Webby! Oh, but Webby! Triple H was a good guy in part of his career! Triple H was a good guy! What a crock!" Triple, shut up! Triple H, yes, was he a good guy in part of his career? Yes. Run down the Game's career. He was part of Evolution, turned his back on Randy Orton, had feuds with Batista, had an absolute horrible feud with the Great Khali, was part of Mr. McMahon's corporation.
Authority.
The Authority. Yes, I was getting to that. That is the lamest part of his career. The watered down version of the corporation. That is all the Authority is. That just makes me want to puke. I'm going to leave an annotation in the video somewhere where you can go and check out that WrestleMania 33 thing of Shane McMahon versus Triple H. And I guarantee you, Shane McMahon will lose if that match happens. Don't get me ranting about that, Clownie. I'll just let you watch that rotten video. Make me want to puke.
He's gotta puke. He's gotta puke.
Make me want to puke. So anyway, Triple H would do anything to hold on to the world title when he had
Anything.
the championship. Oh, and by the way, since we're talking about that, he just had to be the champion one more time. He just had to be the champion one more time. Just had to be the one to hold the title and then put that disgusting Roman Reigns over. Let me give you a hand. Whoop-de-doo! What does it all mean? Make me want to vomit. Triple H. A complete bad guy. Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Then he was in Corporation after that DX junk.
Well, let's be honest. He made his career as
being a bad guy. Trying to follow Ric Flair's footsteps. Yeah. And that is true because Evolution was WWE's version of the Four Horsemen. Yeah. And I would dare anybody who is watching this video to leave a comment and argue that point. Clownie, are you going to argue that point?
No, I gotta agree with you on that.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're not getting into this video.
I'm getting into the video, but you're going on a tirade, so I'm letting it happen. So I gotta go. Number 2 or number 3 was Triple H. Now we gotta move on to number 2.
Number 2.
Let's see if Webby has a good pick for us here.
Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Wait a minute! Wait a minute! Some of you puppets out there will say, "Oh, but Webby! Webby! He was a good guy for years!"
Hollywood Hulk Hogan was?
We liked him! Hollywood Hulk Hogan was awesome!
He was awesome.
He was a heel. He was a straight up heel. Bash at the Beach, 1996.
Leg drop.
Hulk Hogan leg drops the Macho Man Randy Savage and forms the New World Order. Trash spewing into the ring. Absolutely spewing into the ring. And everybody, hey, don't hit me.
Hey, they didn't even think they were getting out there alive.
And absolutely horrible letdown. People cussing in the arena. Mean Gene Okerlund cussing at Hulk Hogan as he was walking off, and the pay-per-view was gone. All of a sudden, Hulk Hogan comes out black and white. You talk about the money, and you talk about this and that. That was on one of his promos.
Mm-hmm.
So, Clownie, you got me a little worked up here.
I understand. Very passionate about your hills.
So, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, who absolutely, with him and New World Order, destroyed the WCW roster. Absolutely destroyed it, and everybody joined the NWO. And you might as well say that the NWO was WCW, because then you had the NWO, then you had NWO Wolfpack, then you had BWO, then you had LWO, then you had all these NWOs, and Hollywood Hulk Hogan started all this. And he went around spray painting everything. I remember he took down the WCW sign and took over the announce table and like kicked off Eric Bischoff and everybody else that was there, and like pretty much just started taking over the announce table and took over the entire show. I remember when that happened. You know, and then
Good.
what?
It was good.
It was good.
Indeed. Indeed it was, Webby.
And I remember, I think one of the episodes on Nitro, he even went and spray painted all the cars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and who could forget when NWO went and like literally, and everybody thought like it was real. Took Rey Mysterio and shoved his face right into the truck where they do all their work. You know what truck I'm talking about. You know, absolutely one of the top hills.
Mm-hmm.
And if any of you puppets out there think that he was a babyface, then there's something wrong with you.
Definitely not a baby face during the NWO. I agree with you. Hollywood Hulk Hogan was not a baby. He's on both. One of the greatest faces, one of the greatest heels.
Yes,
Definitely.
and he was he is by far one of the greatest superstars of all time.
Of all time.
You know, a lot of people give him a lot of criticism because of some of the junk that he's done. But he's definitely one of the greatest of all time.
As far as wrestling and what he's done for the sport of wrestling, he's done a lot. So let's go on to our last pick, number 1. But first, let's review. Number 5.
Number 5 was the Dead Man.
Number 4.
Number 4 was Ric Flair.
Number 3.
The Game.
Number 2.
Hulk Hogan, or Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
And we got number 1. Take it away.
Now, this one, I know there's going to be a lot of you out there that's going to disagree with this, but I do not care. Mr. McMahon. Absolutely. I take it you agree with this?
Yeah. Who wouldn't agree with this?
Mr. McMahon. And I know there's going to be some puppet out there that says, "Oh, but Webby! You like Vince McMahon's joy juice!"
Some goons out there.
Oh, thank you, JD from NY, for giving us that. But anyway, Mr. McMahon, by far, greatest heel of all time. He helped transcend the start of Stone Cold Steve Austin. He helped transcend the start, in my eyes, of The Rock with their feud. Just think of this. When Mr. McMahon was born at Survivor Series 1997, the Montreal Screwjob, he tried to be a babyface. And everybody hated him for that. At the time, Austin was absolutely red hot. And you all will know a lot about this by my rivalries video. Put an annotation out there for you all to check out. But he was absolutely red hot. Mr. McMahon was born. Helped transcend him. Every feud Mr. McMahon helped, they became megastars. Shane O'Mac, I will even give Shane O'Mac helping him out. In 1999, when Shane turned on his father, and Mr. McMahon was playing to his baby daughter, Stephanie. And Shane was just this evil corporation type guy. Turns out Vince was playing behind the scenes with Shane. But my point is, if it wasn't for Mr. McMahon, Shane wouldn't have got to that level. The only flaw I will give Mr. McMahon, and I know I don't give flaws, but I don't care, is his failure to push Roman Reigns in 2015. And I won't give Mr. McMahon that failure. I'm going to give Roman Reigns that failure because Roman Reigns just sucks. But every person Mr. McMahon has ever helped and ever was in a feud with, they went from here to here instantly. I don't care who. Triple H, he was put in a corporation. He went here to here. Got championships instantly. Anybody that was put in the corporation, unless you were one of his lackeys, like I think it was Jerry Briscoe and Pat Patterson, and they weren't meant to get pushes. They were just meant to be his little dirt bag. So, Mr. McMahon, absolutely number one heel of all time. So what do you think? You haven't said much.
Well, I was listening to you talk.
Clownie?
It was a good pick for number top 5. Good pick. I feel like the fans will enjoy that. Top 5. Good picks. You educated them a little bit.
Yeah, got a little riled up there.
Well, that's alright. Well, I feel like there'll be more Webby videos to come.
Absolutely.
Well, until then, you gonna do the honors?
And if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. Leave your comments below. Subscribe. And don't forget to catch me right back here this Monday night for my Raw review. And until then, I'm Webby. This is Clownie. Hope to see you again on here next time, pretty soon. Until then, we'll catch you on the other side. Talk to you later.